we are talking about frogging. Yes, ladies and gents, theys and gays, thems and hers, she's and he's. We are talking about frogging, the phenomenon, not Frogger, not frogs. Frogging with a PH. That's right, frogging. If you've never heard of frogging, oh lord, you're in for a surprise, my dudes. So, before I get into it, I would like to say, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment when you're done, because I need someone to talk to this. I need someone to talk about this with, and I'm choosing all of you. So, yes, please subscribe, hit the notification button, like the little bell thing, like, just do the things, please, and thank you, and I love you, and you're fantastic, and let's get right into it. So, as I said, we are going to be talking about frogging, Phrogging. I had to think about it. Frogging. If you don't know what frogging is, it is the act of living in a house without the consent or knowledge of the owner or possibly the other inhabitants. It is different, but sort of the same of the of like kind of squatting, you know, like this is different in the way that the occupants of the house have to be in the house, and the person that is frogging needs to be there without their consent, like I said, without their knowledge, and it's really creepy. It's so weird that people do this. So we're gonna get into frogging. I have the boys. Let's play with Dahmer. Let's play with Dahmer today. Little Jeff. Let's play with Jeff. His name is Jeff, after Jeffrey Dahmer. So, we are going to be discussing frogging, as I've said. I would love if somebody would count the amount of times that I say frogging. But yeah, so let's get right into it. As I stated earlier, frogging is the act of living in a house without the knowledge of the occupants and or owners of the house. It is, as I've also said, a synonym for, a synonymous expression for squatting. It is not exactly squatting, it is just similar to squatting. Now, some people would say, like, why is it similar? Why is it not squatting? And the distinction between frogging and squatting is that the inhabitants of the owners, the inhabitants of the home, usually have to be in, like, living in the home, as opposed to squatting, where it's usually like an empty building or a building that, like, you were living in and then were evicted, like, because that's a thing. It's not exactly burglary because they're not stealing anything other than, like, small amounts of food or like utilities like electricity or water. I really need to get a new little stem slug. So the exact definition of the exact origin of the word frogging is kind of unknown, but it was first defined on Urban Dictionary on July 13th, 2006, and it had numerous entries following. That posting is as followed. So, Attic Fan writes, quote, "Frogs are people who attempt to sneak into houses and live among the occupants frogs see themselves as invisible roommates and try to respect the homeowners or renters by not breaking or taking, although mooching food is sometimes necessary for survival. Frogs may be recognized by the green string that some of them wear on their wrists. Anna keeps a list of houses that are good for frogging and shares this information with other frogs. Phrogging emerged online for the first time on an online discussion board, and it was linked to a thread on Straight Dope message board. It was posted on August 2007, and it was inquiring if the phenomenon was real. The message board references a YouTube video that is no longer available, where two girls are talking about frogging. I tried to go find the video and I couldn't. They also ask why someone would want to do this, and the original poster says, well, according to the girls in the videos, they want to, quote, live in luxury, but don't want to work, so they mooch off others using their air-conditioned houses, eating their food, and just being lazy at someone else's expense. So, you may be asking why I would be interested in this topic other than it just being really weird. And it's because I actually have experiences with frogging. Not that I was ever frogged, but I have... How do I explain this? So, like, the first time that I ever had seen anything like this kind of, like, in media was a movie called Within, or Crawl Space. They changed the name. It was released in 2016, and it has 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. One night, me and my roommate were like staying up really late, and we just decided to watch this movie, and it was terrifying. I thought it was so scary. I thought it was good. I don't understand why it had a 28%, but maybe I need to go rewatch it, and it wasn't as good as I remember. But basically, a family moves into this house after their mom died, and they start like experiencing these things happen, and it makes you think. Spoilers. The first half of the movie is like, it makes you think that they're being haunted, because like it'll show things moving, or like paintings moving in the walls and stuff like that. I'm creeping myself out already. But look at Toothless just staring. Anyways, so it starts out, the first half of it is like a typical haunting film where you think like, oh, it's ghosts. But then it switches, and the second half, it reveals that there's like this dude that's been living in their home forever, like before they even moved in, because it was his home originally. And it is terrifying. They all die at the end. Like, it's not a happy ending. They do not overcome the monster. He kills them. So it was terrifying, and it scared the out of me when I was little. Not little, this was 2016. So it was very scary. I also remember, and I don't remember where, and I couldn't find the original article, but I remember reading this news article about this lady who had moved into this apartment, and she discovered someone was breaking into her home, because she'd have like weird things happen to her, like she'd find her hairbrush in her closet, or she'd find like clothes laid out, and it was like really weird. So she decided to put up cameras, and the cameras caught this guy coming into her home with keys lingerie and have sex with her couch. No, not on her couch. With her couch. Like, he'd put on lingerie and he'd go, and it like showed him in the video like humping the couch cushion, and it terrified me because like I had just started to live on my own, and I was like, what? Because like he had keys. I don't remember how he got keys, but like he had keys to her apartment, and yeah, it was really strange. And I think they like set up, I can't remember, like I said, I couldn't find the original article. They set up like a camera to catch him. So like, not the camera she set up, like the cop set up a different camera so that they could like see when he comes in and they arrested him. Like, can you imagine going to jail for fucking somebody's couch? Like, what? It makes me think of that saying, like, fuck your couch. Like, your mom, you remember that in high school? It was like, fuck your mom, fuck your couch. Anyways. So, there is also another movie that came out. It was called I See You, and it was released in 2022. It has a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. I really suggest you watch this. It was on Netflix for a little bit there. It is very good. Very good. I made my partner watch it, and he didn't think it was that good, but I thought it was so good. And watching it the second time, like literally, I watched it one day. We watched it together the next day. I caught so much more. Like, definitely watch it. It's such a good movie. It's called I See You. Again, I'm gonna give spoilers, a little bit of spoilers. So, it's about this family, and the father's a cop, and the mom is something, and they're like dealing with, the family has had a little bit of trouble because the mom cheated, and so like the dad is sleeping on the couch, and the son's really upset with the mom, and like they start experiencing paranormal like events, like the TV will turn on, or things will be moved, or like there was a scene where the like this guy came in for work on the house, and he was like, oh, your daughter's really nice, and she's like, what? I don't have a daughter. Anyways, so the second half of the film is revealed that there is a frog, two frogs living in their home, and he's been causing all of the like paranormal stuff. But there's another twist, and I really want you to go watch this movie. It's called, like I said, it's called I See You. It's very good, very, very good. So like, the other experience that I've had, and I've had this since I was young actually, my mom used to joke when I would go and take the trash out that I was going to be taken by a man named Nigel. I don't know why, that's just one of the jokes that she would have with me. And so I told my partner that, my husband, and he has now made it into a running joke about how Nigel has followed me and he lives in my walls. And he's just moved from house to house with me. So like anytime that I can't find something, or something's been moved, or like the biggest thing is like, I swear I close my content door because, like my content room door, because I don't want my dogs in here. And I swear sometimes I'll come home and my door will be open, and I'm like, what's this? And he's like, oh, Nigel did it. And so like, it's just a running little joke. Apparently Nigel is also deeply in love with me, and he steals my lighters and my hairbrushes, and like places them places where I would never have put them. So yeah, that's my my experience with phrogging. Not that like it's really extensive or anything, but so anyways, there research and I found a couple cases, nothing major, but a couple cases. Like I said, most of the phrogging incidences that I have encountered are pretty harmless, but there are a few that are alarming and could have been very deadly, like very deadly. So this story takes place in Honolulu in 2019. It is about a James and Brittany Campbell. They return home from a vacation on the mainland. So like I said, they live in Honolulu. They went on a vacation to the mainland. They came back and they found that the husband's bike, like he had a motorcycle, was outside on the lawn when it had been locked away in their garage. So they approach the front door and try to open it, and they discover that a man, like, pulls the door closed. Like, can you imagine coming home and unlocking your door and having some dude try to shut it? So he tries to shut the door while informing James that it's not their home. He said, "This is not your home." And like, oh god, it terrifies me. It gives me the goosies. Like, look at that. Oh god. So the man that had been living in their home was named Ezekiel Zayas. Ezekiel Zayas. He had been living in their home and cataloging everything. He'd cataloged their pots and pans and stacked them on top of each other. He had all of James's musical equipment unpacked and in the living room. He also had one of their old laptops, which he was compiling information on the family. Information that he would not have had if he wouldn't have been actively listening to them. So it's like conversations about the couple's infertility struggles. He had commented notes about Brittany, the wife, saying that she should give up and focus on the children she already had. What? He called his notes "The Omnivore Trials, a Rehabilitation of Rat-like People." The Omnivore Trials, a Rehabilitation of Rat-like People. So he had typed up horrifying plans for the family, like talking about dissecting them, turning them into a species that he called the omnivores. There was like, oh god, surgeries that included sexual reconstruction and hand transplant surgeries for Brittany and the children, like hand transplants. There was also a video of Zayas naked pretending to do makeup, like in a tutorial mocking Brittany because she had like a makeup channel and she was like active on her makeup channel. So it was like videos of him like, isn't that so scary? Just so scary. So after they found this man living in their home, they realized that there had been a lot of other really weird occurrences that suddenly made sense. Like their computer webcam just randomly turning on at night, doors were left opened or unlocked that had like previously been secured. The dog barked at literally nothing, which my dog does all the time. It freaks me out. Boxes open in the garage, shadows outside of the house, and then a strange note. This is what gets me, this part right here. There was a strange note left on the desk calendar that read, quote, "Your rehabilitation starts today. Do as I did. Choose a house, clean it up, set up all devices." Set up all devices. The husband thought it was the husband thought it was the wife leaving him a note to clean the house. who speaks like that? Who talks like that? And furthermore, if my husband left me a note like that, I'd be like, what is this? What are you talking about? And then we would have found out that, yo, someone left a note on my desk. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes me feel like this couple didn't communicate enough with each other, because like I said, and like I told my husband when I was researching this, if I found this note, I would immediately go to my husband. So another case that was deadly, but not in the way that you think. So when you look up phrogging, like deadly phrogging incidences, the one that's gonna pop up the most is Daniel LaPlante. It is considered like deadly, although he was not phrogging when the murders happened. So Daniel LaPlante was a 17-year-old boy who tormented a family of the girl he was stalking before committing a quadruple homicide in 1986. So the phrogging incidents happened with a girl, and he was sort of phrogging with the family that he killed, but not really. So LaPlante met 15-year-old Tina Bowen at school and had taken on her a date over Easter break, like they had went on a date. Her father found out about his delinquent past and told her to end the relationship. He was facing a couple rape charges, and so when the dad found out, he was like, absolutely not, which is like completely valid. He had entered the home via a small crawl space window. It was literally no wider than 6 inches, and he began tormenting the family. Can you imagine? 6 inches is like this. That's barely big enough for my head. How did this little boy get in there? Anyways. He had been watching the girls play with a Ouija board, and so he started impersonating a ghost. He would change the channel on the TVs while the girls left the room. He would rearrange items. He would eat their food and tap on the walls while the girls were home alone. On December 8th, 1986, the family returns to find the girls' toilet had been used. And like, I tried to explain this to somebody, and I don't want to be gross about it, but I need to explain it. How did they know? How did they know that the girls' toilet had been used? Like, unless, okay, I am of the firm believer of if it's brown, flush it down. If it's if it's yellow, let it mellow. So like, I don't flush my toilet all the time when I pee. I just don't. I'm sorry if that grosses you out. I'm trying to save water. So like, if it was me and I came home and found like my toilet had been used, unless it was a shit, I would not know that somebody was in my home. So like, my question is, did he leave the toilet seat up, or was it a shit? I think it might have been a shit, but I can't figure it out. I tried to look it up, and it just says that the toilet was used. So, welcome to the intimate nature of cat. Chicken. So the father searches around the entire home to find LaPlante in a wardrobe. His face was painted wearing a, quote, Native American style jacket and a ninja mask holding a hatchet and a steel wrench. He ordered all 4 of the family members into a bedroom in a very calm manner. Quote, very calm. Tina was actually able to escape, and she called the police at the neighbor's house. So, December 10th, 1986, 2 days later, the family had not been staying at the house, but the father had returned to grab some of their belongings. He sees a face in his front window and calls the police, saying it was the same man who had taken them hostage. Oh yeah, he was able to skedaddle. They didn't know, they didn't see who it was, so they didn't come find me. They also find a knife sticking out of a family portrait in the wall. Sorry about that, my downstairs neighbor decided to use the bathroom. So, where was I? They find a knife sticking out of the family portrait. The officer calls for backup, and they search the house but find no result. Like, they find nothing. They don't find him. They don't find anything but, like, the weird writing. The officer decides to search the walls, and they find LaPlante hiding in a pile of clothes, and he is arrested. He is held until October 1987 before released on a $10,000 bail after his mother remortgaged her home. So while researching this guy, I find this article written by, I think it is the officer who decides to search the walls, and he, like, hates this little boy. I mean, like, hates him. He writes an entire article. I'm not even kidding you. If I could find the article, I would. Writes an entire article about this boy, and it is so completely biased. And he talks about how he's just trash, and how, like, the judge shouldn't have let him go, and the only reason that those people died is because the judge is an idiot. Like, he literally says that. He says the judge is an idiot. So while he's waiting for his trial, he begins breaking into homes again. On October 14th, he steals two .22 caliber firearms from a neighbor. The next month, he burglarizes the home of Andrew and Priscilla Gustafson and their two children, Gustafson. I think it's Gustafson. Priscilla is actually pregnant at the time. On December 1st, 1987, he breaks into their home carrying a .22. He said that he wasn't expecting the family to come home, so he had considered jumping out of the window and escaping. But he decides to confront them, and he puts the son in a closet before tying Priscilla to the bed and gagging her with one of his socks. He then rapes her before shooting her twice in the head. He then takes the son to the bathroom and drowns him. So he was leaving, and as he was leaving, the little girl comes home, and he decides to kill her in the same manner that he did her brother, by drowning her in the second bathroom. He then returns home and attends his niece's birthday party. Andrew, the husband, returns home and finds that like, he couldn't reach his wife all day. He had been calling and she didn't answer, and so he returns home and finds that the house was silent and the lights were out, and he searches the house and finds his wife's body first. He exits the house and calls the police without looking for his children because, quote, he was afraid he would find them dead. And so the police come and they search the rest of the home and find the two dead children. So they find a wet t-shirt and some gloves behind their home that led scent dogs within 2 to 3 feet of LaPlante's home. He was interviewed but let go due to lacking evidence, with police planning on returning the next day. So long story short, LaPlante decides to run. There's a massive search for him, and he goes on a burglary spree before being found hiding in a dumpster, and he is arrested. They found the gun that was used to shoot Priscilla in Daniel's stepfather. Oh, I'm so sorry. The gun was found by Daniel's stepfather in the glove compartment of a junk Jeep Cherokee. Junk Jeep Cherokee. Junk Jeep Cherokee. That's hard to say. They also found a pair of Converse sneakers which matched the prints in the flower bed at the Gustafson home, which were found in Daniel's closet. A sock with saliva was found. A necktie, a sock, stockings, and pantyhose, which had been fashioned into ligatures. One of Danny's socks was found to have fibers, which matched fibers at the Gustafson home. And they also found a cordless phone that had been stolen from the Gustafsons. A thumbprint, which belonged to Daniel, was identified on the phone, so this boy left a lot of clues. So, obviously LaPlante was found guilty and sentenced to 3 life sentences. Quote, 3 consecutive prison terms of 15 years. He attempted to appeal for a reduced sentence in 2017, but the judge did not find him remorseful of his crimes, so the sentence was affirmed. He is eligible for parole in 2032. So I'm going to end this video with some celebrity frogging incidences. There are quite a few. I was actually also going to go into, like, there's this article that I found that it's just like tips for frogging, but I'm not going to go through it. It's really funny, but like I'll link the article maybe. And I might read it actually, it's kind of cute. Anyway, so there are some celebrity frogging incidences. The first happened in 2013 with Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. A man named John Dubis is caught on the grounds of her Hampton home. He stayed in her pool house for a week. He had free reign of the property despite security patrols, and he even uploaded photos of the experience on Facebook. There was P. Diddy in 2001 and 2012. He had a man named Quamine, I don't know how to say this, Quamine Taylor, is arrested after breaking into his Hamptons mansion. He actually brought food into the house, but used Diddy's hot sauce, drank his alcohol, and smoked his cigars. He also used his soap, his aftershave, and borrowed his toothbrush before napping in his bed. Can you imagine using P. Diddy's toothbrush? Just anyone's toothbrush. It doesn't have to be P. Diddy's, but like, gross. Taylor, I say 2001 and 2012 because he had been previously arrested for breaking in and trying to swim in the pool. So this man, like, just had an affinity for P. Diddy. In 2018, Rihanna had Eduardo Leon break in and stay the night at her Hollywood home. He disabled the alarm, but was found by her assistant. He had unpacked a bag and was charging his phone. I like that that's what they decided to put in the article. Like of all the things that he did, he was charging his phone. Oh no, not his phone. How dare he use Rihanna's electricity to charge his phone. It's funny. He also made another attempt to break into a home that he thought was owned by Rihanna. He was arrested and charged with stalking, vandalism, first-degree residential burglary, and resisting arrest. We also had a George Michael. There was a woman living in his London home for 4 days while he was living there. She was staying in the floorboards. It was discovered when Michael was in the living room and heard someone calling his name. She proceeded to jump out and confront him. Can you imagine just sitting on your couch, just sitting there and like going, Michael, George Michael, like, that's scary. That's so scary. And then finally there's Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson had a homeless woman living in the pool house for several days. She noticed food and clothing had been going missing, but discovered the woman when she saw a face in the window while at home with her children. Just terrifying. The woman was wearing Anderson's iconic red Baywatch swimsuit, holding a letter stating she wasn't a lesbian. She just wanted to touch Anderson. Eek, 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 eek. Grody. No thank you. No thank you. No thank you. So that's all I have on phrogging. Super creepy, super weird. Just basically people go into your home, eat your food, just live there with you while you go about your daily routine, like, and it could happen to anyone. So like I said, check your rooms. Check your rooms. Even that attic. Check your attic. The next part, I think I'm gonna only go through a little bit of them. It's like what to do if you think there's a frog in your house. Tips for phrogging. I'm gonna go through a little bit of them. Like I said, I found this in an article. The author states they couldn't find phrogging guidelines online, so they compiled this themselves, and I liked it enough. I'm gonna read a couple of them to you. They're really funny and like kind of ha-ha. So the first one says, remember your moral code. You are not a thief or a home invader. You are merely taking advantage of unused space in someone else's house in order to have a cheap vacation. That's morally questionable, but once you start taking valuables that aren't yours, you've gone from trespassing and breaking and entering to more serious crimes. Location. To minimize your chance of being detected and jailed, choosing the right home is vital to phrogs. The most obvious choices are unoccupied properties like model homes, vacation houses in the off-season, and neglected timeshare properties. I would consider that more squatting if they are neglected or abandoned. Phrogging, like I said in the beginning, usually they have to be in the home for it to count as phrogging. Oops, sorry. Choose the right house, which again is location. Aim for the garage or guest house. Most of the phrogging stories that make the news are of folks staying in the attic or living behind the walls. Flashy, yes, but do you know what doesn't make the news? When someone lives in a garage for a couple of nights and takes off. It's not the best for sleeping or stealing food, but there might be mini fridge in the corner filled with beer. Dogs are not your best friend. Stay away from any house with a sign of a dog. It's not just rip your apart style canines. You have to worry about either. Even timely friendly dogs will whine at the closet door if you're hiding in there. Stick to the homes of cat owners. A good frog is a neat frog. Don't make a mess. When you sneak out of your little hidey hole after everyone goes to work or sleep, by all means enjoy the comfortable couch and big TV, but make sure you put the remote in the right place before you climb back into the attic. Unless you're the kind of frog who's trying to subtly gaslight your host into thinking they're going to mad. In that case, move everything subtly, tilt the pictures on the wall, steal a single fork. Get creative with it. And I'm so mad about this. I'm gonna there's somebody living in my walls. No, I'm pretty sure we took it on a picnic and I accidentally threw it away, but I'm convinced somebody threw it away. Don't eat too much. Don't stick around too long. Yeah. I liked the fork thing. It was cute. Anyways. So that's phrogging. I hope you are sufficiently creeped out because I am. I hate it. And it is really telling about the state of the world we live in if people would rather live in someone else's home. Maybe it's not, maybe it doesn't say anything, but it just seems like if people had access to homes that were cheaper, we wouldn't need to stay in other people's house. Oh god, that scared me. I'm creeping myself out. I need to quit. I just got a notification on my phone and it looked like someone moving. So I creeped myself out. I'm done. We're done talking about this. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what you think about phrogging, and let me know what you think about I See You. Please go watch it. It's such a